Well, first let's start with you, Alexis. You trying to stay even keel emotion-wise this week, knowing as a senior it's kind of a big week for you?
Yeah, I'm just excited. Looking forward to picking up some more wins this week. So.
Have you thought about Saturday yet, or are you trying not to think about it?
More trying not to think about it, just trying to stay in the present day, not think ahead. I know it's an exciting day, but also it's kind of winding down, so just not trying to think about it too much.
Family gonna be there?
My sister's coming up, yeah.
What's that gonna be like for you?
It's gonna be fun. I'm excited. I'm gonna be happy to see her and everything. So, yeah.
You know, as someone who's been there for 4 years, do you have any favorite moments on the court past couple years?
There's been so many. I mean, since we're playing UTEP coming up, when we were at UTEP and we came back in that fourth quarter, we were down about 17, 18. That was a pretty
19.
fun game. 19, yeah, sorry.
But who's counting?
Yeah. That was a pretty good memory. But there's so many. There's every year, every team, I have one, more than one with each team. So it's just been a fun time.
For whatever reason, I mean, this is college athletics in general. It's kind of a rarity to have a four-year athlete like this. From your perspective, Coach, what's it like to have someone that's stuck with this, been with this program, and you're going to see her from coming in as a true freshman, stepping in right away, and then ultimately, here it is, senior day, 4 years later?
It's special, obviously, and there's an immense amount of pride, not just for me, but for the staff, for my family, for the university, for the community, because they've gotten to see her grow and develop, from a high school student to a young lady that's getting ready to graduate. And so, that you're right, it's not happening like it used to, but it still can, and it's still important, and it still has a high value, and I know it's important to Lexi's family just like it is to ours, and so we're proud of her. And there's been, as many of the great moments that have been on the court, there have been equal or more number of great moments off the court, and those are the things that sometimes we lose when you lose those opportunities to build and grow those relationships as if players move around a lot. And so those are the things that we'll always cherish and value.
There's still a lot to play for this week, too. So
Yep.
you figured out one win, you're a top 4 seed. If you win both this weekend, you're no worse than a 3 seed going into next weekend. How nice is it to kind of, in a way, have things in your control right now? Because there's still a pretty good pathway for you guys, even with that setback a couple weeks ago there against Middle.
I think right now it's at the point where the good players have got to become mentally strong to just help lead your team. Towards the end of the season, last year, we didn't do so well. And, this year we're doing a lot better, but it's important to just be mentally focused. So I think going into every practice, that's kind of what I'm going to be going in with, to make sure the team's mentally focused and in the games as well. But overall, I'm just excited to go into the end of the season with this team. I think we have a really good chance at getting to the championship, so that's what I'm looking forward to.
Alexis, kind of talking about the La Tech game this past weekend, down the whole game until really that fourth quarter, final few minutes. Can you just talk about the impact you have on the court as the leader and just helping the team get that win?
I think it was really a team win. We all came together at halftime and we huddled up, and the one thing I told them was put it into our heads that we're not going to lose this game. I just told them don't think about nothing else but that we can't lose. And when we went back out there, we all fought together, and it was a team win. Everybody put in their part, and people on the court and off the court, everybody was in it with each other, and I think that's really what helped us overcome that little hump that we needed to get over to take the lead and win that game.
Coach, going back to last week, we were talking about it beforehand. We believe that Josie got snubbed Player of the Week, putting it lightly. Just looking at her performances, can you kind of just talk about how she's helped this team over the past couple of games and lead them to where they are right now?
Yeah, she's continued to be that never say die player that gets extra possessions, makes big shots, gets big stops, guards everybody and anybody on the floor, and just kind of all around does everything. And so it's really a credit to what she's done in the off season to get ready for this moment. It didn't just start the last 3 weeks. It started months and months and years ago. And so now, this is the result of somebody that's put a lot of work in to be a great player. And so that, like Alexis said, it was everybody this past weekend. Josie played a big role, but this one made a big three, made some big free throws. We got some steals, and we played a really soft first half. We didn't play our normal gritty, kind of aggressive first half, and we just were very, we didn't have that same energy. And we came out of halftime, and we had a lot more focus. We had some other opportunities. I know we didn't take a lead until late in the fourth, but we had 2 other opportunities, and we just didn't capitalize on those, but they never stopped fighting. And Josie embodies that. She's not the only one, but she embodies that as well.
She talked about the mental toughness of this team. It's kind of evident in a stat that was going around this weekend. This conference is pretty hard on the road, and you guys coming away with 2 more wins on the road this weekend. You still got 2 more to go. Kind of speaks for that you guys are one of only 3 teams that are above 500 on the road in conference, and it's so difficult to win. Those home games are so valuable for any team.
It's hard in any sport to win on somebody else's field or court, and so it's hard in this conference, and they're tough enough to win. And it's just not easy. And we know, and now they've been through enough challenges to know the other team's going to shoot the ball better on their home floor than they shoot in Diddle Arena. They're going to have a choice of practice times, and we're not going to have that priority choice. They're going to sleep in their bed, and we're going to be in a hotel. They're going to eat the food. Those are things that they know that they can't control. The officiating's not always going to be the way you want it to be. And so those are things we can't control. And we always talk about what we can control, not complaining about the things that we can't control. We just acknowledge that and then focus on what we can do. And that was really our halftime talk, was about doing the things that we can control doing. And I think they locked in on that in the second half. And we don't have to get to halftime to do that. They know that going in. We just weren't where we normally are to start the game. We've gotten off to a really good start in a lot of games. That wasn't one of them. But I think this team's tough enough to win on the road, and they've proven that. And we've got a tough one coming up Thursday against UTEP, and then we'll have another one on senior night on Saturday with New Mexico State. And then we got to go back and play 2 more of the top teams in the conference on the road again. And so this is a tough 4-game stretch right here to finish the season.
What do you think makes this conference so tough for teams, road teams? Because what is it, 320? 320 winning percentage on road teams in this conference, which is the lowest of any conference in the country. You guys are kind of the toughest road trips of anybody in women's basketball right now.
Some of it could be, and I don't know. I haven't looked at it from other conferences breaking it down. Some of it could just be the travel. I mean, it's Conference USA. It's from almost coast to coast, and so the travel's not easy. It's not easy to go to El Paso, and it's not easy to travel to Miami and then Lynchburg. It's not easy to do that and then still be able to play at a high level, knowing that you need to get the practice and the film study and the rest. And so that could be a part of it. And I think teams just play well at home.
Alexis, I know you guys have to play UTEP on Thursday. It's escaping me. But next up, you got New Mexico State on Saturday for senior night. That game on the road kind of slipped away for you guys. Is that kind of in the back of your head when you're going to play them on Saturday?
Not just that one. We actually haven't beaten New Mexico in the past year as well. So it's up to us to just be mentally focused. Again, going into that game to just do the things that we need to do. Every time we play them, we seem to not do the little things. And that's a big thing for us, that we go into Saturday and we do the little things, and we just play well together. Like I said, this past game against La Tech, when we play as a team, it's really hard to beat us. So we need to go in that game and really play as a team and hit first, and that'll give us a good jump for that game.
And then the UTEP game was another one where you guys kind of had to dig a little bit, a tough, hard-fought game where they came back. As you kind of alluded, and then you throw Princess and what New Mexico State has done in it's two challenging home games to finish the home part of your schedule.
Well, we've got off to a good start at UTEP, and then we came out and didn't play well in the third quarter, and they did play well in the third and fourth quarter, but again, the mental toughness, the grittiness, the togetherness, locking in, and just making sure we manage the game down the stretch to get a win. And sometimes it's not always the prettiest, but it's the grittiest. And so that's kind of what we had to do in that. And then at New Mexico State, again, we got off to a decent start, not a great one, but a decent start in the first half. And then we came out in the third quarter and we fouled a lot. We didn't do a good job on our defensive assignments and allowed some players some open threes. And then we missed a lot of layups. And so all that compounded to really giving them, and then we still had opportunities down the stretch. And we've just got to do, like Alexis said, we've got to do all those little things consistently throughout the whole game.
Coach, can you kind of just talk about over the past 3 seasons, obviously a career year for Josie, can you just kind of talk about what you've seen in her improvement over the past few years?
Well, the one thing that hasn't changed from day one is Josie's drive to win. And that's something that she just has in her. She was a state championship caliber runner in high school as well as a basketball player, and she probably could have done any sport she wanted to do. And so she's continued. What she's done the last 3 years is continued to work on her skill development. And I think a lot of players these days don't continue to do the off-season skill development that allows you to continue to improve, or strength training. And she's continued to do that. And this past spring and summer may have been her most intense work that she's done. And so that's really why, as Cole noticed, we're really seeing kind of the fruits of her labors from the spring and the summer. And now she's getting confident, because you still got to get those game reps. But she's always been, she doesn't miss practices. She doesn't take days off. It would take an act of Congress to get her to not practice. But she's going to show up, and she's always going to play hard. Now you're seeing a higher skilled player play hard, and that's a tough combination.
Alexis, you've been one that your interaction with the fans, whether it be Education Day or these post game where you guys sign, you're one of the ones that really have embraced this and embraced the fans. What kind of message would you have to the fans? Do you have the fans coming in this weekend? Don't even play in front of them for the last time?
One, I would always just say thank you. I'm always grateful. I always try to go and talk and just say hello to everybody, to just give back, because they're giving to us first. Just coming out there and supporting us in the first place. They come out when it's snowing, when it's raining, when it's cold outside. We appreciate that so much. And so, if we could get some more fans in here this weekend, especially, for senior night, we have our pink game as well, that would be a blessing for us. It's always so fun. We love to put on a show too, especially when there's a lot of fans out there, and just have a good time. It allows us to have more fun on the court too, because of the fan engagement. So I hope we get a good crowd this week. It'll be 2 fun games, 2 exciting games, and just come out and just have some fun with us.
Coach, every single year you see a class graduate and lose some players. But what about this senior class? It's going to be, tough to move on from with, Alexis and Destiny.
Well, and I'm proud of Des coming back. There's a lot of players that, they take that 5th year and they want to go do something else. But Destiny felt like there was more that she could do here, and so I'm proud of her as well. And so I'm proud that they're graduating. I'm proud that they've got a degree. And then, Destiny's working on a graduate certificate and wants to get into real estate after she gets done playing ball. And so that I'm really proud of. Mariama, Sal's going to graduate and wants to get into working with kids. And so that's really what you're proud of. The basketball, I always tell the players, and Alexis heard me say this, at least once a year, so at least 4 times. But people will forget if you made or missed a big shot. And they'll forget if you made or didn't make, the turnover, the pass, or the assist. But they'll never forget how you treated them. And I think, even with Lex always, we had to fuss at her to stop. Don't be giving stuff away in the stands. It costs money, and we're trying to watch our budget. And so, but she does those things because she cares about the kids. She cares about the fans. And even when she got here as a freshman, we were on the road, and we had got done with our team meal, and everybody and then Lex was picking up plates and putting them away. And so I called her dad to tell her, you'd be proud of your daughter. And he said, Well, she doesn't do that at home. And so, but that's the kind of, servant nature and that you're proud of, and those are the things that you really remember. You'll forget the big plays, some of them. You still want to make those free throws, still want to take care of the ball, you still want to win games. But at the end of the day, it's about how you treated others.
Coach, can you kind of just talk about earlier this season you said you wanted to get bigger and get more depth. And
right.
Against La Tech, Mariama, who doesn't get much playing time, came in with 8 very valuable points. Can you just talk about, in I think it's 2 weeks in Huntsville for the tournament, can you just talk about how important that'll be?
Mariama gave us huge minutes against La Tech, and Callie Rose has given us huge minutes in other games as well. And matter of fact, Callie Rose, when we played Middle Tennessee here, made big shots in the first half to kind of keep us in the ball game, keep us in striking distance. And so that depth and that size is invaluable. And even though we got out-rebounded badly in the first half at La Tech, we came back and narrowed that gap in the second half. And so that's just a big part of our game, and they all help in that way, as well as Salma and Maya Pratcher. They also help as well in that size and depth. And so that's just, I can't tell you the difference that has on us when we're going through this conference season compared to maybe last year when we were a little bit more narrow with our depth. And so, and Mariama's, she's had other things that she's had to battle through, is the only reason she's not gotten additional opportunities. So, some illness and different sickness things. But we're glad she's, knock on wood, right now, she's healthy and ready to go.
Kind of going off that, the rebounding against teams like Middle Tennessee State and Liberty, you guys give up that height a little bit, but can you just talk about how important it is? Like Alexis got 9 rebounds against Jacksonville State. Josie has been in there rebounding like crazy the past few games. Can you just talk about how important it is for the guards to even go in and get those second chance points? Well,
Josie's gotten huge rebounds, and then Lex always gets huge. I mean, pound for pound, there's probably not a better rebounder in the conference than Alexis Mead. There's a lot of times I'll see her flying in and getting her hands on the balls and sometimes coming up with the possession, and so we need that. We have to generate those additional possessions, and so we've got to continue. We may not be the best rebounding team, but we just got to keep fighting to be better than we were. And if we keep working, there's other ways that we can generate additional possessions. And so Josie does that, and she's not the only one. Lex, a lot of players do that, and a lot of that falls back to Zophie Talegdi, Mariama Sal, Callie Rose West being willing to go box out the other team's best rebounder and free that up for Alexis and Josie and other players to come in and get boards. And Destiny Salary boxes out players that are, she gives up 30 pounds a lot of times when she's boxing out. So it's just part of the team effort that's got to happen.